is Sami, and I've been golfing since I was 6 years old. And if you guys don't know, Hank was my assistant coach at Viola for many years, and I'm so happy to see you.
Yeah, thanks. But
Like,
nice to be here.
It's yeah, I'm so happy to see you. And amazing that you're doing well and you're here. So I started golfing around 6 years old, and it's kind of crazy. My story is not your typical golf professional story. I didn't have any coaches. I didn't have any training. I didn't go to a country club. I wasn't a country club kid. It was just me and my dad at Wild Horse Golf Course. I don't know if you guys know, but Wild Horse is kind of a rundown, kind of a muni golf course. It's not in the best area. I've had rocks thrown at me from the neighboring kids.
I've had that happen to me.
And my first set of golf shoes came from a garage sale for the first tee. The first tee was a big thing in Vegas, and that's what kind of gave me those resources to just like be able to play. My clubs were a set of really old Callaway Bertha irons that were cut down to fit a tiny little 8-year-old. And from then, my dad just taught me and my brother. And we played our first tournament when we were like 8 or 10 years old. And I shot an 82, came in second place.
Wow.
I was like, wow, okay. Like, it didn't feel good at the time because I was like, 82, that's not very good, is it? But apparently,
How old? 8 years old?
at 9 years old. And by the time I was like 12, 13, I was just like winning things. And it was crazy because the kids that I was competing against were Butch Harmon kids. So if you guys don't know Butch Harmon, he had his school down there in Vegas, and all of the top players in the state would go see him. And every week we would face up at either a U.S. Kids golf course, a U.S. Kids tournament, or a first tee tournament. And I would continuously be in the top 1 or 2 spot every single week.
Wow.
And a lot of my story comes with, I don't call it an underdog story, I call it an under God story. Because no matter what it is that I faced, like despite the circumstances, I somehow was able to overcome. When I was 13 to 14, I was in Nevada State Junior in Vegas. And I had previously, that year before, I had gotten DQ'd because of a scoring issue. Now I triple check my scores. I will stay at the scoring table longer than I need to, just double checking each box because I was a little too excited the year before. This year, I had a 102-degree fever, strep throat, and a stomach ache. And we were walking at 13, 14 years old in 112-degree weather for 2 days. And we're walking this course called Boulder Creek in Las Vegas. It's very hilly on our own. And that year I won it with a fever, strep throat. And there was just something inside me that was just like, come on, you can do this. And then when I was in high school, I dislocated my wrist. I had a tiny bone in my wrist that was like misplaced. And I shot 3 rounds of 72 in a row with a dislocated wrist.
Wasn't that out of place?
Did you get it pinned out of place?
I don't even know what I got. It was painful, it was excruciating.
I have a few of those.
Yeah. And I just didn't know, like, is this the end of it? What am I doing? And I just felt this little voice in my head just egging me on, just keep on going. And then got to college. My freshman year, I won the National Christian Collegiate Conference as a freshman. In Florida, yeah. And I beat out a senior in a sudden death playoff.
Out of the sand trap.
Out of the sand trap, yes. John Yim knows the story.
I read the bio.
And it was just an insane, thing to do. Like, I was like, how on earth, like, did I just get here? And my first tournament in college, I barely even qualified to be on the team. I go out leading the tournament after the first day. Second day was a little iffy. Got a little mental block, but that's okay. And just everything that has led me through my golf journey wouldn't be anywhere close to what I could do with or without God. Like, I grew up in a Christian home from the ages of like, I gave my life to Jesus when I was 8 or 9. And I kind of was just like, okay, he's there. He's a part of my house. I go to church every Sunday. But I didn't really start feeling my faith and feeling on fire for God until probably like since Biola, because that was just when things just started clicking and I started realizing like I really can't do this. Like without him, I'm nothing. Like I'm just a kid from Vegas, you know, whose dad's my coach. And just with him, he's empowered me to just do so much with that and to touch people's lives. My team at Viola was so cool. When I was a senior, I had mostly freshmen and sophomores, and it was really cool to have these girls look up to me, you know. And it's crazy because like I'm a kid from Vegas, like I'm from Sin City, like like that's not how typically it's supposed to go stereotypically, but to know that I can be a light, you know, coming from that place to the people that I am now, is amazing. And I decided to turn pro in 2022 when I won the Jack Brown Memorial Tournament in Laredo, Texas. I shot like 68, 74, 73. And it wasn't the scores that gave me confidence. It was the fact that I beat out the #1 Division II team in the nation. And that was an insane feat. I was like, how did I do this? Every single time one of these things happened, I'm like, oh my gosh, it didn't even feel like me playing golf. It just felt like the Holy Spirit just like giving me that good bounce or like letting that putt drop in. I bogeyed the first hole on the last day. I had a 5-stroke lead, and then I parred the rest of the holes. And I was like, how is that even possible? Like, that is crazy. And then ever since then, I turned pro. It's been a tough journey. You know, it's a whole different level at the Women's All Pro Tour. Like, these girls are so good. They have the top trainers, the top coaches, everything. And it's insane to be competing against them. I'm so grateful, but it's also kind of hard. You know, I had a pretty low career in the past couple of years just due to finances, due to not performing well. And this is when a man in my life named Peter Beams came into my life. He was the guy that trained my dad. He played with Gary Player, Jack Nicklaus, all these great guys. And his story is just like mine. If you want to look him up, it's called Peter Beams, the Boy Who's Riding the Clouds. He is such a big believer. He believes that his golf journey wouldn't be where it was without God, because he didn't have the resources like I did playing golf. He didn't come from a fancy country club or from a wealthy family that could help pay for trainers and coaches and everything. But he literally played on the grace of God, which is, I think, incredible. And when I met up with him, I was like, Peter, like, I don't know if this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, should I just, like, these girls are so much better than I am. And he looked me in the eye, and I don't think this was him. I think it was the Holy Spirit. He was like, you got it in you. You've got what it takes. And that has just kind of been my voice to motivate me. And last night I was at Shoreline, and we did a young adults, kind of like a service, because I work on Sundays, so I can't really go to church. So on Wednesdays I go to young adults, and he was talking about John 15, 4-5, and this kind of just hit me because through the ups and downs ever since I was a kid through high school, middle school, college golf, and then now onto professional golf, it's given me so much just perspective on how powerful God is. Where in verses 4-5, he says, remain in me, as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself, it must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me, and in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. That is the story of my life. And whenever I felt like, oh my gosh, okay, I have to step up my game, or I have to find another trainer, I have to find a new sports psychologist, thinking that my own ability is going to get to where I need to go, that is so not true. Like, really, it's just coming back to God, you know, as my ultimate caddy, my coach, and his way will be made revealed to me. And it's been very tough trusting that process because, you know, I always want to know what's 10 steps ahead. You know, I want to plan. I'm a big planner. But this time and this season has just shown me, like, God is a light. He's like a lamp. He's only going to light up the couple paths in front of you before he's not going to light up the whole way, which I wish he would. But it's just the little steps right there. And so I'm just trusting him, and I'm just believing in him, and it's been a really great journey, and I just can't wait for what the future holds. Even though I'm anxious and I'm scared, you know, it's terrifying, you know, venturing on this journey and following God's plan, but it's also very peaceful at the same time because I know that he's got it upstairs. Yeah, that's my story.